Imagine the world comes together and raises $1 billion for people suffering in Lebanon. $1 billion. That sounds like it should change everything, but it doesn't. Let's do some math. 1 million people displaced. You split $1 billion between them. That's $1,000 per person. $1,000. At first, it sounds like hope. But stop and think, what does 1,000 actually buy? When you've lost everything, no home, no job, no stability, that money goes to food, water, a place to sleep, if you're lucky. And in a crisis, 1,000 doesn't last long. Not a year, and not even close. We're talking weeks. And most of the time, that $1,000 isn't just for one person. It's for a family. So now divide it again. Now it's survival. Stretch thinner. Day by day. People hear numbers and think solutions. $1 billion? That sounds like it should fix it. No. It barely keeps people alive. It doesn't rebuild homes. It doesn't restore lives. It just delays collapse. If $1 billion only buys weeks of survival, then the damage done to Lebanon is bigger than most people can ever comprehend. This isn't even about generosity. It's about scale. Because when everything is taken from you, even $1 billion feels small. So I was online today and I was on YouTube watching the live of another YouTuber who has a podcast and runs a channel called Do Not Worry by a super cool guy. I love his content and watching his stuff, and he keeps the world updated and focuses on Lebanon and different things. And yeah, he mentioned something about the annexation of the south of Lebanon, and I made a comment going that Lebanon will not be annexed or taken over, like something like that. And a lot of the comments were negative. A lot of the comments were like, you're delusional and super negative and bashing me for my opinion. But it just made me realize or sit there for a second. Maybe it's just that the audience that was online at the time and, making comments in the live. But it just made me think that maybe these people are Mossad agents or, people in India or God knows where, like pretending to be someone they're not and just um, trying to trigger, division and what do they call it, rage baiting and everything like that. But my other thought was that if these are Lebanese people and this is what they think, then it seems that a lot of people have lost all hope. And in their heart, they don't have that feeling of putting it all on the line to protect what they believe is theirs or what they love the most. I guess it doesn't affect those until it affects them, we'll say. But for someone from the south of Lebanon, just the idea of this like uncontrollable happening, this like feeling of helplessness is truly traumatic for the soul. Whether I think like you live in the region or you live outside, obviously nobody knows anyone else's pain, and to go through bombs falling on you and missiles hitting you and having to evacuate and dealing with the true occupation of tanks rolling by your window and all of that um, is not the same as what maybe the diaspora goes through in a physical sense, we'll say. But that eternal or inside feeling of feeling like you are going to lose it all, that you will never have a chance to see it again. And some people, they do visit in the summers or, any chance they can get. There's some people that it's their dream, to go back. They just haven't found the monetary, the chance monetarily or you know, life life is different for everybody, and not everyone is able to do whatever they like whenever they like, but just to have the option, even to have that feeling of that sense of I have a home in the world, no matter how far and I am where I am, or even if I'm born and raised somewhere, that identity, like to be called Lebanese, or to be, you're Lebanese, you know it from the way your mom spoke to you, you know it from whether they spoke German or Dutch or English or whatever they spoke in the country you grew up in. You knew at home, you would hear the sound of Arabic. You know that you've heard Fairuz before. You know that you've had the falafel. You know that you've had hummus or labni. You know, how important olive oil is to have in the kitchen. Za'atar, manoushi, lahmi ba'ajin. You know, all of these things. Like, even if you're a kid that grew up in the diaspora and you don't even know a word of Arabic, I know that anything I said right now, it rings a bell and resonates with you. And just the fact that we have this entity and demographic of a certain people. I don't know if demographic is the right word, but a certain group within a certain people that created something out of fear, of course, and you know definitely searching for a sense of security, but also within that a sense of power. I think the sense for them and their Zionist movement, the sense of security got lost, and it became about power and oppression, and almost being their own tyrant in the world, in a sense of the kid that was bullied now has become not just a bully but a serial killer. So um and the fact that has been allowed to progress and expand and be, have been invested in, and governments, decades after the fact now, or at least we'll say the people have now finally opened their eyes, as if it couldn't make sense, as if back in the 70s, when the PLO were doing hijackings of planes and all sorts of things to not harm people, but to just cause, to create awareness. It wasn't enough, even the tragedy in Munich with the Israeli Olympic team. There's a Hollywood movie about it. It's called Munich, right? Eric Bana is a star in it. The same guy that was in Black Hawk Down, the same guy that's in many other movies, the same guy who plays the Hulk. Are we really, am I living in a world where this completely slipped over, flew over people's heads and slipped under the radar? It's very, very, honestly, for me, it's very unbelievable. The lack of interest in anything. It bothers me a lot. I don't know if it's just me, and I'm sure it isn't, and I know it isn't. I like to look into things and read around things, and I get inspired by many, many things, if not everything. And I like to learn all about it, and the connections of things, and I continuously learn. I'm always learning. It's a beautiful thing. And especially on the subject of the question of Israel, but the answer of Palestine and Lebanon, and just this awful thing that we've had to endure as Palestinians and Lebanese people. Because everything we've gone through, regardless of what they say and what, whatever they've gone through, it's incomparable, honestly. Because for the Palestinians, at least, the Holocaust has been done to them. And my biggest fear is to see the same thing happen to Lebanon. My biggest fear is to lose a place called Lebanon. Not 1 square foot of it could I fathom being lost. And that's why I say that. That's why it bothered me, the comments I got back on that live chat on the Do Not Worry podcast. Because for me, it's like, guys, you just sitting and throwing your arms to the side and saying, oh, it is what it is, or it will be how it will be, or what can we do, is just not good enough. It's unacceptable. Even if you're not from the South and you have no ties to the South, and you think that, oh, people that support Hezbollah and, the villages and towns that the people that are involved with Hezbollah, their relatives all live in these different villages in the South and in Dahi, that they got what's coming to them or they deserved it in any way, you're wrong. Your compassion is at zero. You have no camaraderie. And unfortunately, you do not see your fellow countrymen as brothers and sisters, or as family for that matter. And it's a shame. And I hope that there's something that strikes you to change your mind and change your outlook and to swallow your pride and know that it doesn't matter if you're a Christian and Sunni, Shia or Durzi. حبيبي أنت لبناني. وعلى نسبة للإسرائيلي وعلى نسبة للصهيوني وإحساسهم إنه أحسن لهم يمسحوك بالأرض وبيمهوك من التاريخ. فمشان الله والله يرد عليك، كون حنون، كون كريم، إن شاء الله تكون واقف مع شعبك، الشعب اللبناني، وإخوتك الشعب الفلسطيني. ما تواخذوني. This is my first commentary. I'm just trying a thing. لأنه مليت. Can't take it anymore. I can't see my love, my country, Lebanon, be destroyed by tyrants, by ignorance, by lazy people, by people that don't want to lift a finger or use their willpower, that people they don't want to use their voice or their intelligence, they just want to make comments or not do anything. معاش في. I love you all. Peace to the Arab world. Peace to the Levant. Allah yahmina, man.